So on the regulation, there's really three documents that are critical that we prepare aside from notifying the SEC. First and probably most famous is the Private Placement Memorandum or PPM. That's a document that describes the terms, it describes the risks, it describes conflicts of interest. I like to think of it and I refer to it as when you go and open up a checking account at the bank and they hand you this big book that you don't read. Most of the time, that's the PPM. I'm not saying you shouldn't read it because you should, but a lot of investors just don't read them. But it really is what walks you through, make sure that it's very clear what the investment is and what the downside chances are that something's going to go wrong. The second document is operating agreement. That's really the document that sets the rules for the investment. So the PPM is the document the syndicator can say, I told you so. The operating agreement is this is why we did it that way. So it tells exactly how distributions are going to be made, if there's any voting rights, all those things are contained in the operating agreement. The third document that's there is the subscription agreement. And that is the document that the investor signs saying, hey, in exchange for $100,000, I'm getting this portion of the investment. It basically binds that investor to the investment and to the operating agreement. Aside from that, it's documents that get filed with the SEC to make sure that the SEC is in notice and that we're safely parked in the safe harbor of Regulation D. And then we also need to notify the states where investors are coming from, almost always. So those are kind of the key documents that exist. Turnaround time varies between attorney to attorney. My turnaround time is 2 weeks. And costs, generally, you're going to pay more than $10,000 for an offering, up to quite a bit. I mean, I've heard of big firms charging $100,000, but generally, you're looking on somewhere between $10,000 and $30,000.